usual. There's very few breeds where you can cross two breeds and
get one.
basically end up with purebreds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's really there's no
basic,
indication that there's any difference between magpies and Anconas, other than they were just selected for different color patterns.
Interesting.
So this is, I can't think of another situation where that's true. Unless you're talking about just different colors in the same breed.
Right.
You know, and that's basically what this is. It's two different patterns in the same breed, but they were given different names back in the turn of the century, whenever.
And that's what you say too. It's like the old how they conduct some of the Anconas.
You
tend
know,
to look like the.
And that's what I was able to trace out, and it's not written in stone.
Right.
And I've been quoted a few times of, well, they don't quote me, but I've had people, I've seen where people have written, and I'm like, that's baloney. I mean, I say, this looks like what probably happened.
But it's just the traceability based on your own findings.
But
of course.
It is not a fact.
Right.
Exactly.
Are there any facts about?
There's very few.
Right.
I guess one of my other questions, real quick, I'll let you.
I mean, there's very few facts on magpies, and magpies had been much more prevalent than Anconas through the last 115 years. And there's so little documentation on them.
In terms of eye color with the Anconas, I've had people.
I pay no attention to it.
Okay.
I mean, people have said.
Because the problem is, whenever you have a bird that has both white and color in it, it depends what, I mean, in general, if there's color around the eye is brown. And if there's white around the eye, or touching it, it's blue. But the way pigmentation works, it's irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. If you get,
adjustments, I think she
you know, the human tendency is to, at least, I don't know if it's human, it's Western mentality, human tendency, is wanting to make this stuff, you know, this is the way it is, this is the way it is. In biology, you know, it's just like the physicist. The further physicists get down the road, the less answers they have about some very specific things. Some of it just becomes like, well, maybe, you know, possibly. We know that if you look here, you'll find this, and if you look here, you'll find this, but we have no idea how it gets from there to there.
Yeah.
And what happens in between.
Right.
You know, so with the Ancona, it's just shooting your, it's arbitrary. You could pick brown, you could pick blue, and what you're going to do is
Isolate.
you're going to eliminate a whole group of birds that it's just chance.
Diversity.
The way the pigmentation blotches are on that bird.
Interesting.
So, and you'll have birds, I don't know if you've noticed it, you'll have birds that have split eyes.
I have.
Or quarter, or, you know, I mean, it's not a exact proportion, but part of the eye is one color and the other part is the other color.
Yeah.
And there were breeds of pigeons, I used to raise a lot of pigeons. There were breeds of pigeons, and it called for, and those were always breeds that had white in color. And,
So I guess one more real quick question is, with the Anconas, a lot of people are saying like they don't know what 1/3, 1/2, 3/4. You know, I mean.
White in color?
Yeah, white between white and color.
You know what? The whole point is to have a blotchy, broken pattern. That's it. So our rule of thumb was the bird had to be at least a quarter white or a quarter color, or a third. I mean, it's arbitrary. It makes no difference. You'll get some pure white ones.
Yeah.
We never bred from those, but
obviously, yeah. We those are for meat and stuff. We'll let you guys.
But you know, and that's one reason why we never standardized them, because we knew as soon as wanted this stuff exactly like this, it was going to ruin the breed. Because then you were going to throw out such a large portion of the birds, and your gene pool was so small anyway, it was just going to run them into the ground genetically.